Hey y'all. So this is what I got done today, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it was just trying things out and everything. So again, this is the child seat that my neighbors threw out, and I kind of took it and I cut it. You guys can see there, cut these pieces because they were too close. Since it's a child seat, it's way too close for a human body to fit. Same thing with the head. I love the shape of this thing. Makes it look almost like an aircraft. In fact, as soon as I saw it, I said, "Wow, this looks great." Um, so again, I just had to tweak it, modify it. Again, I put the frame together with the design that I'm going to use with the galvanized steel piping. In other words, the idea of squashing them, it does work, but I'm going to need like a special jig because precision on the metal piece is going to be very important. So I need all the pieces to compress completely and give me the amount of space I need so that you have two perfect fitting flat surfaces. And then on some parts, I'm going to put double bolts. So like that, if there's any torque, like in the corners, you have torque and it kind of wants to do this thing. Even though I did brace it and everything, I'm thinking that two bolts on the corners to keep it from torquing in different directions is what I'm thinking. So we'll see how that works out. That'll be done on the galvanized piece because these are already cut. So I'll just compensate for it by giving it like an extra inch or two. Um, but that's what I got so far. And again, this is the preliminary back part of the exoskeleton. So as you guys can see, these things are not going to go out that much, and these guys are not going to go out that much. I have a curved piece of steel, which I plan to put here temporarily, just to get the so it can go over my shoulders correctly. And then this lumbar support needs to have inside here piping, to follow these curves here, and then be attached to here. Probably going to be straight because again I'm going with triangular geometry. As you guys can see, it does kind of open up here in the bottom. That's fine. That's not an issue. Once I put the side posts attaching it to the side, it should be very extremely rigid. And if not, then I can always brace it again. Or, this is where I put all my bracing, all my reinforcements. This is, I think it's 1 inch pipe. The other one I think is 1/2. So the little braces in the middle, I'm using a smaller pipe or smaller tubing to reduce weight and stuff. And then again, once this is built, I'll take everything apart, I'll label everything, and basically have it made out of metal, and then reattach it, put the bolts, solder the bolts or weld the bolts, and hopefully it should be a pretty solid roll cage. Again, I'm going with triangular geometry because of a few reasons. Number one, whenever you look at any tank or any kind of modern aircraft, like an assault chopper, they have angles. Everything is angular, and the reason for that is bullets will hit the object and then tend to ricochet off or not penetrate as deep because they're going sideways. So it helps because titanium is a bitch to cut, so all I need to do is get a square and put them where they belong, and either rivet them in place or whatever. But giving it that square geometry is going to be a lot easier to fabricate as well. Just to give you the idea, if you have a car that you're designing like the Tesla truck, a Tesla truck with all those right angles, very easy to make. Something that looks like a 1950s Chevy or 1930s Chevy with the streamlined round bumpers is extremely difficult to make out of metal. So it helps with the process. Again, form will follow function. This is going to, in the end, look like whatever it is that it looks like to have the form that it needs. In the back, from here and here, it would be triangular. So the whole back will be triangular. the whole front will be triangular. And again, still waiting for the 5-point harness, but as soon as I do get it, I want to go ahead and this is all loose, by the way. The back part is on, the top is not, neither are the sides, because I'm still trying to fit where everything's going to go and get an idea of how wide my body is going to be with the soft armor, because I haven't built that either. I should have started with the cooling suit and then gone into the soft armor and then gone into this. But the problem is, again, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to build this. So I want to do this first, and if this works, then I'll go kind of backwards and stuff. So like I said, I'm kind of happy with the way it looks so far. Tomorrow what I'll do is reinforce all these side parts. So this will have a piece that goes there, a piece that goes through there, and then here it'll have a piece that goes in here and a piece that goes in here. And then I'll finally fit where these guys go. And then later on what I'll do is get some fiberglass cloth, cover it all with also the styrene, polystyrene resin. And once that's been resonated, I plan to seal everything with truck liner, the whole fiberglass assembly, seat assembly. I don't know, again, if I'm going to keep this underneath it as like a backing, or I'm going to actually pop this off and make it all out of fiberglass. Not 100% sure. So we'll see how that works out. But so far, I'm really happy with the way things are going. Again, I built a kind of like a real mock-up. This is going to be, again, this is the metal that I cut will be to the shape of this, to the size of this. This is the mock-up of the roll cage. So everything that you see that's PVC will be replaced with galvanized steel piping, and it'll be assembled the same way it is here, and hopefully that'll give me strength. And once I laminate all this with steel, cover the whole thing, and then put the titanium plates either inside, outside, I still don't know yet, but I would like the idea of plates that are replaceable, so I could just, you know, on the field you can just take a drill, take off the damaged plate, put the new plate in there. But again, I don't know if that's going to work, because again, we're talking about rifle rounds. Rifle rounds are ridiculously powerful, and they might actually pop off the armor. So I'm thinking about maybe the armor itself will be something that's, you know, solid, and then some other components that like the arms and the legs might be replaceable. I still don't know yet. But again, it's just a proof of concept, so it doesn't matter. Anyways, this is starting to get there. I can't wait to get to the point where this thing actually looks like something that I can harness myself in there and have the front of the roll cage made, and the back where all the that's another thing too with the back. It's like I don't know what triangle angle to give it, because I've got to fit back here the communications. I got to fit the power generation. So you need power generation, you need air filtration for the cockpit, which would be, the cockpit would be in here. You'd need cooling for the cooling suit. You'd need well, just, you know, all your computers and all your tracking software and all that stuff I want to put back in the triangle part. And of course, heavily armored. And also another thing I want to do is all the electronics, all the wires. Call me paranoid, but I just want to wrap them with copper. Now, anybody that if you know anything about electronics, to build a Faraday cage, you wrap things in copper. Anytime you wrap something in copper, you shield it. So it's shielded from electromagnetics and whatnot. Just in case, you know, EMP, anything, it won't take out the electronics in the suit or the power distribution and stuff. And that's accomplished very easy. There's a copper tape that they sell in different widths, and it would just be wrap all the parts that contain electronics and all the cables with that copper tape, and that would do enough. On top of that, you have the fact that it's all covered in titanium. So titanium is really good for blocking EMPs and that kind of electronic stuff. things that disrupt electronics. I'm sorry. Also, like I said, the PA system. Where is it going to mount? I need lights on this thing. There's a lot of stuff that I've got to fit, and I got to just at least make an idea. That might get bigger. It might get smaller. It might have maybe like the F-16s, the ones that the Israelis use, that they have the external fuel tanks. So maybe that might be an option too. Have the triangle with all the basic stuff, and then maybe have something that like pods that you can mount on the sides. So again, it's gonna look pretty cool. I had a crazy idea, which was once I finish this thing, to get what's called a salute cake, which is basically, it's a bunch of tubes. It looks almost like a rocket launcher. A bunch of tubes, and they fire those big fireworks that just, they don't make a lot of like pretty stuff. They just bah. And I just thought it would be so cool to shoulder mount two of those bad boys once this thing is done, kind of like a demonstrator to show what it looks like. So we'll see. But peace.